For Congress in Virginia's 7th District, Green Beret combat veteran Derrick Anderson. We can see the former president on the right-hand side of the screen. He's doing some house cleaning. As soon as he starts speaking in earnest, we'll go to that. To you first, Derrick Anderson. Matthew Miller said this about Iran. Watch.
It should be very clear to Iran that escalation is not in their interest. It's not in Israel's interest. It's not in any country in the region's interest. We have delivered that message to Israel. We know that other countries have delivered it to Iran.
Will they strike or will they not?
Well, Trace, I mean, let's first talk about the talks about the ceasefire. Israel shouldn't have the terms of a ceasefire pushed upon them by anyone, especially its biggest ally, the United States. Right now, Hamas is suing for peace right now. Why? Because they're losing. They could easily surrender and turn over those hostages. I mean, let's think about it, Trace. There's over 100 hostages still being held in Gaza. Some Americans in the Biden-Harris administration hasn't mentioned anything about it. Let's not forget about the attack that happened just this week on one of our military installations where 5 of our U.S. service members were injured, 2 contractors, because of an attack on an Iranian-backed organization. The Biden-Harris administration has been equivocal on their support to Israel time and time again. Just this week, Harris was questioned to clarify whether or not she supports an embargo, arms embargo against Israel. So, you know, this is why I decided to run for Congress, Trace, we need a strong national security. We need a strong foreign policy. We need to stand with Israel, whereas people like my opponent are rubber stamp for the policies that got us to where we're at right now.
Yeah, and Colonel, I want to put this up on the screen. This is the Free Beacon. They write the following, quoting here, as Biden-Harris administration calls for de-escalation, Iran threatens to wipe out American military bases across the Middle East. Going on to say a leading member of Iran's nuclear negotiating team promised on Wednesday to wipe out every American military base in the Middle East in the United States if the United States joins Israel in an attack on the Islamic Republic. So the bluster certainly goes on, Colonel.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is expected, of course, because American soldiers and sailors and airmen are over there working on the lily pads throughout the Middle East with minimal security, sometimes host nation security. And it's always been a concern when the security situation changed so much in the Middle East based on what's happening that we put them at greater and greater risk with no strategy behind why they're there in the first place. So we need to rethink where Americans are throughout the Middle East, why they are there, and whether or not we're doing the right thing due to what is happening, not only in Israel, of course, but with the potential for expansion into regional to multiple states, maybe.
Yeah, and gentlemen, stand by with the break. Speaking of breaking news, we have the former president getting into the